blocker on him. Throws it up for Ayton. Shot blocked by Antetokounmpo. What a block from Giannis.
17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open. Chicago with the lead.
Minute remaining. And they're putting Curry in the pick and roll, trying to get him on Irving. Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
We're sending it in, Jerome. That's for damn sure.
Yes. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Taproom Sports Podcast. I am your host, Jordan Stacks on Stacks Lats. Joined with my guy, Mr. Big Ball and Ben Larson. Irvin will be joining us shortly. He's coming back from something, so we'll be joined by him shortly. Big show on deck, though. Lots to talk about this weekend. Big sports weekend. Obviously, we had the Preakness, which I don't even know who won, so don't ask me.
It wasn't the same Mage.
No, Mage lost. PGA Championship. Congratulations to Brooks Koepka on winning his, I think his third PGA Championship, second or third. But man, the biggest story from the PGA Championship was Michael Block, who's a PGA professional. Basically, he's like a teacher at a golf course, and you know, PGA Championship, they invite some of those guys to play, and he was the first guy ever to make the cut, and he finished top 15, dude, which was absolutely incredible. And he sunk a hole-in-one on 15 today that didn't even touch the green. It literally just dropped in the cup. I've never seen anything like it. Yeah. So that was PGA Championship was incredible, man. That was an awesome day today, and obviously NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs. We got a lot of baseball to talk about. Some things happening in Major League Baseball. But how you doing, Ben? Weekend Warrior.
Got a good day out there today. Got to go play some golf.
Nice.
So had a nice little allergy attack this afternoon from being out in the wind and the golf today. But we're here. Got to stop at one of my favorite breweries, Tap Room. So they're out of San Diego, but they have a tap room up here in Walnut Creek. So got to stop at Mike Hess of San Diego. Had a great pale ale. Unfortunately, they didn't have any cans, so I couldn't bring it for the show tonight. But I am drinking their Solace.
Nice.
So it's a West Coast IPA. Coming in at 7.2, so a little high. But
hell yeah.
Mike Hess is quality beer.
Nice, dude. We are being brought to you by Tavour. Make sure to go to Tavour.com or download the Tavour app straight to your mobile device and use promo code TAPROOM for $10 off your first purchase of $25 or more. That's craft beer delivered straight to your front door. You don't even have to leave your seat. I'm just sipping on a juicy little thing hazy IPA. I've never had this one from Sierra Nevada.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so it's I've drank one. It's good, man. It's something you could like put down. It's pretty light for a hazy IPA. It's not too heavy.
How you doing? How was your weekend too? You had graduation.
Yep, had Paisley's graduation. That was awesome.
Yep.
Had Brooks Koepka plus 2,400 to win the PGA, so that was
awesome.
That was really awesome. But the Celtics keep stealing my coins, so that is not awesome. I just can't wrap my head around it, dude. I've never seen anything like this, bro.
No.
It's absolutely insane. And we'll get to that in a minute, but let's talk about some NHL playoffs because, you know, I have been making money on the Hurricanes, which is awesome. I didn't have a side on Canes Florida game 2 because I was like, man, after a 5 OT game, like, you know, we were talking about it. I was like, dude, I just feel like that was so deflating for Carolina, like an absolutely deflating loss. So I didn't really like. I leaned Florida, but I didn't want to play Florida because like winning 2 road games in a row, like that's tough. So I actually played under 1.5 first period goals, thinking that, you know, the most energy would be exerted in the first period, and then we would probably see more goals. I got lucky, dude, because 2 goals got fucking waved off in the first period.
Yep.
So I was saved by that. But, you know,
Well, and I was figuring that this was going to be a low scoring game. And to be honest, with these two defenses, I think the rest of the series is going to be low scoring. And, with this series going, to 4 OTs and then game 2 going to, overtime as well. They scored quick in this one, but especially considered to the 100 and what was it, 118
Oh, it was like
minutes
fucking
of
whole
hockey.
game, dude.
Yeah.
Whole game and then some.
Yep. Shit was insane. But no, 2 full games and then some.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, in just overtime.
yeah, yeah. So like I think we're gonna see low scoring games throughout the rest of the series. I know they have a day off in between games, but these guys are tired. These guys have played a lot of hockey so far, not only to get to the point that they're at, but to go through and now have really 2 games with what is it, 6, 7, like 8 periods
Yeah. Yeah.
in 2 games, more than that, because we had 4 OTs, so that's 7. Sorry, no, I'm way off there. So that's 7 just in game 1.
Yep.
10, 11 periods in these 2 games. These guys are tired. So I'm really thinking that we're going to see unders hit the whole rest of the series. And to be honest, I only think it's 2 more games. I think we're going to have a sweep here.
It's tough, dude. I don't know.
It is. It's very tough. Carolina is a very good team.
Yeah.
But they're a very good team at home, and they just got swept at home.
My big, like, dude, that the game 1 was absolutely deflating because, first of all, you get it into overtime, and then Florida scores in overtime. The goal gets waved off, so like
Yep.
you have rejuvenated life.
Yeah.
And then Carolina had like 4 scoring chances. They had like 4 open nets in overtime and weren't able to capitalize. And then they lose on a bad turnover, which shouldn't have happened right before the end of overtime.
12 seconds.
12
left.
seconds.
That hurts.
And that is just so deflating in my opinion. And like that's why game 2 I was like, man, it's such a short turnaround to like bounce back from that, and guys are tired obviously. The one thing I think that benefits Carolina is, Florida, they go back home and now they're going to get in their cozy confines, like at their houses and stuff with their families, etc. Carolina's kind of on a business trip. And, I thought that's why, like, it kind of benefited Florida in game 2 because, Carolina got to go home and spend time with their families, right? And hang out. And all Florida was thinking about is game 2. You know what I mean? And now I think that kind of happens for Carolina on the flip side. It's an absolutely must-win game though for Carolina.
It really is. If they go down 3-0, and this is the hardest one for them to win because it's the first game in Florida, which again, this is the one that if a road team wins a game, it's usually that first game.
Yep.
But it is so difficult, and man, the way that Bobrovsky's playing, the way that Kachuk's playing, the way that
They're playing great.
Ekblad is playing.
You know what's fascinating, Ben?
It's gonna be hard.
The most fascinating thing about this in the NBA playoffs is last year Florida and Miami were 2 of the best regular season teams.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Florida Panthers, Miami Heat. And this year they both kind of like stumbled into the playoffs. If you recall, like Florida, I mean, they barely got into the playoffs. They were really struggling. They had goaltender issues all year. That was really their biggest thing.
Yep.
That kid kind of like stood on his head at the end of the year. They kind of rode him in the beginning of Boston series, and then they flipped up. They flipped to Bobrovsky after Boston went up 3-1, and Bobrovsky's basically, I mean, he's carried them. You know
absolutely, what I mean? and as he should. If he's making $10.5 million as a goaltender, you have to carry your team.
Yeah, and he's doing it, man. He's earning his paycheck, and yeah, I mean, I think Florida, I think they're, I don't know, dude. Vegas is so deep, dude. Vegas is very deep, but I think goaltending
issues.
Yeah, I think goaltending is gonna like ultimately hurt them in the end. The reason why I don't like Dallas though is because Dallas, like, they're very top heavy and their first line kind of sucks, dude. Or they're not playing well.
Yeah,
and that's an issue. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they have a great goaltender in Ottinger, but let's talk about that series. So Vegas is up 2-0. Vegas kind of dominated game one. Dallas ties it at the end of regulation, and then Vegas wins it in overtime. Today was like a complete reversal. Dallas kind of controlled the game, and Vegas ties it in regulation, and then wins it in overtime.
Yeah.
I text you when Vegas tied it. I was like, man, this is crazy because I feel like Dallas has dominated this game, and they're about to lose in overtime. Like I can just feel it. Like that's just the kind of game you lose in OT on the road when you dominated. Another deflating loss, but at the end of the day, it's like they're going back home. I mean, this Vegas took care of business. They took care of home ice. They go back to Dallas 2-0. Do you think this goes back to Vegas game 5 2-2?
It very well could. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it goes back to Vegas 3-1. And I think we're going to then go to 3-2, and then Vegas will take it 4-2. I think this is going to go 6 games. I think this is going to be a little bit more drawn out than the Florida and Carolina series. These two teams are literally neck and neck in every single aspect of their game.
You could say the same thing for Florida and Carolina. I mean, all 4 of these games, both conferences has gone to OT.
Yep. I just think the deflating loss in game 1 and then to come back and lose it again in overtime in game 2 was I just think that's too much for the Hurricanes to come back.
I feel like you could say the same thing about Dallas today. Like Dallas could have stolen a game. I mean, Ben, they like outshot. I think it was like 33-12 in the third period. They had more shots than Vegas, and Vegas scored 2 goals. They tied the game, and they only had like 12 or 13 shots.
Well, both teams scored 2 goals in the third period today. Oh, sorry, that was game 1. Sorry, game 1. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
But I mean, Dallas was like, I felt like Vegas like never had control of the puck like all game. It was just all Dallas.
Yep.
But like Dallas's style, I mean, Peter DeBoer, it's just like throw pucks at the net and hope one fucking gets past the goalie.
Exactly.
It wasn't like good opportunities and stuff.
And that's why I ultimately think Vegas is going to, come in and get the W here. And the DeBoer factor is a huge aspect of that. He is a very good regular season coach. He cannot make the adjustments in the series that other coaches can do. And I think that's what ultimately puts Vegas ahead of Dallas. As much as I think Dallas is the better team, they're not able to adjust as well as Vegas is going to be able to do. So when times get tough in game,
why do you think Dallas is better than Vegas?
What's that?
Why do you think Dallas is better than Vegas?
I think they have a very good all-around team. I think they have good offense. I think their defense is stout. They have a good mix of young guys and old guys in Richardson and Pavelski. Goaltending, I think, is what puts them well ahead of Las Vegas in the level of play. But Vegas is on that run right now. Vegas knows how to play postseason hockey.
Because Vegas was the 1 seed, and they were basically hurt all year. Like they were never healthy until the end of the year. Matt Stone was out a majority of the year. They had guys in and out all season.
Yeah. But the biggest issue is they can score a lot of goals. They can't. Defensively, they're not as good as a lot of the teams that are in. I mean, they're still only allowing 2.74 goals against, but they're just,
and they played Edmonton.
Yeah, but they're playing a lot better postseason hockey than they are regular season hockey.
They were the number 1 seed in the West.
I understand. The West is not as good of a division as the Central.
Yeah, but Vegas had a better record than Dallas.
Vegas did have a better record than Dallas. Again,
they were the number 1 seed in the entire Western
Pacific
Conference.
Division is not as good as the Central Division.
Ben, Edmonton would have been favored in a series over Dallas. Edmonton was a favorite over Vegas.
Okay.
The Kings were also in the playoffs.
Yeah, great. And you have
Dallas.
two of the worst teams in the league in I guess you have two of the worst teams that not as bad in San Jose and Anaheim.
You have two of
You
the
have
worst
Arizona and
teams
Chicago, but I mean, even then, Anaheim 58 points to Chicago's 59. Arizona still had 70 points.
surprisingly.
St. Louis, strong team. Nashville, strong team. Like
St. Louis was terrible.
Built wise. What's that?
St. Louis was terrible this year.
St. Louis was still. I mean, they were a 500 team. 37, 38, and 7.
They were awful. All right, going forward though. Let me read you off some of these futures here. So to win the Stanley Cup, Vegas is now the favorite, plus 125. Florida right behind them, plus 160. Carolina third, plus 700. Dallas plus 750. So the market's kind of saying that they don't think Dallas is going to come back in this series.
Agreed. I think they're going to come back in the series. I don't think they have enough to put them over the hump.
Yeah. Would you? It's crazy because Vegas opened the year 19-1. Now they're down to plus 125. Florida opened the year plus 850. Now they're down to plus 160. Because remember, Florida won the President's Trophy last year, and they got better. They got Matthew Tkachuk, right? So like people thought they were going to be better than last year.
Yep.
Carolina opened the year 14-1.
Injuries too. Sorry, go ahead. Carolina opened
14-1. Dallas opened 45-1.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Man, if you had a Dallas 45-1 ticket, whoo, that'd be some stuff.
Yep.
Are we kind of both agree though? We're looking at a Vegas Panthers Stanley Cup final.
Yep, absolutely. I'm gonna give the Panthers my vote for who's gonna win the Cup Finals. They're gonna get a little bit of opportunity to rest because I personally think this is done in 4 or 5. I'm leaning towards 4, and I think Dallas Vegas goes a little longer. They're both more aggressive and gritty teams, so I think they're going to get beat up a little bit more than you're going to see on the East Coast.
Tomorrow, it's basically a pick'em game tomorrow.
Yep.
At circa Florida minus 106, Carolina minus 104.
Yep, I'm going with the under.
The under is at 5.5.
Yep.
Minus 110 both ways. Yeah, I think the under is
at 5.5 both games, and both games have gone into overtime under. So
yeah, I think the under is definitely safe. I'll probably play Carolina just because it's a must-win game, and I like backing teams in those situations. Although it didn't help me today with the Celtics, but I do like backing teams in must-win games because you're going to get a max effort. You know what I mean? So I will be playing Carolina, but we'll see how that works out.
Yeah.
NHL playoffs have been better to me than the fucking NBA playoffs, so
yeah, that's very true. Well, who thought we were going to be in 2-3-0 series right now?
Bruh. It's crazy. I mean, I figured I knew Denver was going to win their series.
Yeah. But I didn't expect it to go this quick.
Yeah. I definitely didn't expect Miami to win that series. That's insane. All right, let's move over to baseball. First thing I want to talk about is the Arizona Cardinals. Ben, we've seen a little bit of a resurgence from them.
Diamondbacks, D-bags.
Cardinals.
St. Louis Cardinals.
Yes.
Okay.
Baseball.
Yeah, you said Arizona.
Oh, shit, my bad. Dude, Cardinals, they are what they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
In their last 10, they're 8-2. I'm kicking myself, man, because last week I could have got Cardinals to win the division at plus 400. Now I think they're like, let me see what they're at right now. NL Central, they are at plus 200. So we've seen a total switch.
Huge flip-flop, yeah.
What do you think? I mean, they just took 3 or 4 from the Dodgers. Before that, they took 2 or 3 from Milwaukee, and then they swept Boston on the road. Do you think the Cardinals are back?
I mean, I mean, yes. I think we talked about this earlier. Is that they were hitting hot teams at the right time, and I think that's what the struggle was with St. Louis, and now they're hitting teams that are not as hot. LA has major struggles with their pitching right now, and injuries are just taking their toll on the Dodgers. Milwaukee has completely regressed from where they were at the beginning of the season when we thought, like, how are they in first place by so much, and look where they're at right now. Boston got hot for that week and a half, 2 weeks, but they're back down to where they were, and where we thought that they were going to be. Chicago Cubs, I mean, the Cubbies are cubbying right now. So I
They're
mean,
just
they
the
went
Cubs
through
are
that
just
horrible
so
streak.
inconsistent, Ben.
What's that?
The Cubs are just so inconsistent.
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they either score 6 runs or like they can't score at all.
Not even a single one. Yeah.
It's just there's no in between. I think with when we did the NL Central preview, we kind of all agreed that St. Louis was by far in a way the best team in the division, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like Pittsburgh got out to this hot start. O'Neal Cruz gets hurt. We kind of all were like, okay, at some point like it's gonna regress, right?
Yeah.
And then we saw like Mitch Keller's still pitching phenomenal baseball. He's been great.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from him, like you're seeing a lot of like regression back to the norm for their pitching. Their bullpen was like top 5 ERA for first 1 month and 2 weeks or whatever.
Yep.
They've kind of regressed. But then Ben, they went like 2 weeks without scoring 3 runs in a single game.
Yep. Well, they have regressed back to the mean. Well, and I think this whole division is regressing back to the mean, regressing to where we thought that they were going to be. Milwaukee. I mean, we're talking about Milwaukee and how their run differential was so incredibly high for this team. I think for the first like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, they were at like plus 30 run differential.
Yep.
Look at them now, -2.
Yeah,
5-5 in their last 10. Pittsburgh playing out of their mind. They have one injury, and O'Neal Cruz wasn't playing great, but he brought a lot of energy to that team, and I think that injury really was deflating to that team, and that's going to really lower the morale. And
I still think the Pirates are a good team.
They are. I think they're ahead of where we thought they were. I think they were the Baltimore of last year. Yeah. They're a year or two ahead of where we thought they were going to be.
I don't think they're as talented as that Baltimore team last year.
Sure.
But
very true.
I do think that they're good, and I do agree like they are probably a year or two ahead of where they probably should be. But I do think that they have the ability to still fight for a playoff spot. Like they have the talent. Mitch Keller is phenomenal, dude. And if they can get anything out of Roansy Contreras consistently, and Rich Hill's even been better than he started the year off pretty rough. He's kind of bounced back a little bit. I don't think they're like terrible, but I just think at the end of the day, it's like none of these teams really took advantage of the Cardinals' terrible start. I mean, the Cardinals were 10-27 at one point, or 10-23.
Yep.
And now they've
huge. What was it? 8-game losing streak that they were on.
Yeah, and they couldn't pitch, and now their ERA is down to 3.57 ever since they made that switch to Nizer, whatever his name is, over Contreras catching. So we're seeing better pitching in the last 2 weeks from the Cardinals. They're 10-3 in that span, 3.57 ERA.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest thing, and like we know they're gonna hit. They have a ton of talent on that offense. Yeah. They're gonna hit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that those numbers dropped so much, because at plus 200, is it even worth? It's probably still worth.
I think it's still some value there, but not as good as plus 400, obviously.
Yeah, I think they'll come back, and surprised they didn't get rid of their coach after that 8-game losing streak. But I think losing the division to Detroit, or sorry, the series to Detroit, was really that like wake up of we got to change things up, because you can say, okay, we lost 3 to both LA teams. The Dodgers are really fucking good.
Yep.
The Angels have two of the best players in baseball. You can justify losing those games, but when you lose the first two to Detroit, especially going into the 10th inning and you can't win, that is deflating. And that's when you really look at yourself in the mirror and say, like, fuck, we got to change this shit around.
Yeah. No, I
So who
agree.
knows what was said in that locker room, but it stuck because ever since they've been lights out.
I think a big part of their resurgence is Nolan Gorman. Obviously, he's been great, but to begin the year, like they were platooning all these guys, like platooning Nolan Gorman, like he wasn't hitting lefty, like they weren't putting him in the lineup against lefties because they had Jordan Walker there, and it's like they're trying to fit Jordan Walker into the lineup, and they got him playing an unnatural position just so they can kind of get his bat in. And they're just rotating all these guys, and they're not letting these guys get consistent ABs. And then the pitching was obviously fucking atrocious. Like, it was just all around just a mess. And they send Jordan Walker down. Now, all of a sudden, Nolan Gorman's playing every day. He's starting to fucking, like, ball out. I think he's, like, third in major leagues in WRC Plus right now. And I think that was, the huge turning point was letting these guys play every day. Like, dude, Nolan Gorman was a top 3 prospect last year. There's no reason he should be platooning, dude.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, and the thing that sucks, dude, is Nolan Gorman he's a third baseman, right? Jordan Walker is a third baseman. Like, they got 3 third basemen, and you can't just like Nolan Arenado is the best defensive third baseman in baseball. Arguably, him or Matt Chapman. You could make cases for both, but it's like, neither of those guys are gonna take Nolan Arenado's spot. So it's like, okay, exactly. where do we figure these guys into our defensive depth in our lineup, because their bats are good enough, right? So now they send Jordan Walker down to try and get him used to playing the outfield, but then you get Lars Nootbaar back. Lars Nootbaar is one of the best outfielders in baseball, and remember that's what St. Louis has always hung their hat on, is defense. Like, they're always one of the best defensive teams in baseball. Like, last year they had like 6 Gold Glovers, dude.
Yeah. Well, but I think the biggest thing is that offensively they're just as good. When you have Goldschmidt, when you have Arenado, when you have, now Nolan Gorman, Nootbaar played.
Nolan Gorman will probably never win a Gold Glove. I'll throw that out in the universe.
Yeah, but offensively he's raking right now.
Oh, yeah. He'll rake forever.
Yeah, Edman is raking right now. Brendan Donovan, he's having a good year. Like,
yep.
They just have a lot of guys who are having a good year offensively too. And with Arenado and Goldschmidt in that lineup, you better expect this team to be offensively a major threat.
Yeah.
And then you add those little pieces onto the side there, and things are working really well. Now it's going to be up to pitching.
So would you consider trading Jordan Walker for a pitcher? Obviously, they're not going to be able to get Corbin Burns because there's no way Milwaukee trades him in the division. But,
yeah,
if a pitcher becomes available, like, let's just say, for example, Logan Webb, Giants make him available at the deadline, do you consider moving a Jordan Walker?
I think you have to, because this, if you're going into the playoffs with Nicholas, Montgomery, and Flaherty as your top 3,
you're fucked.
You're fucked. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Liberator is nice though.
What's that?
Liberator is nice.
Yeah.
He's young. He's gonna have ups and downs.
Yeah. So, am I going to put him in my starting rotation? Maybe at that number three spot, but even then, I don't trust Nicholas and Montgomery.
It's just
so.
Bro, I just don't think there's going to be like any pitchers really available in the.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
That's the problem, dude. Is like Corbin Burns might be the only guy, like only legit starter available, and like obviously Milwaukee's not going to trade him in the division.
Yeah. Well, and even then, like, Jordan Walker is one of their top and one of the top tier talents in the farm system.
Yeah, but again, like his his natural position is third base, and they have Arenado. He's under contract for like 2 or 3 more years, and then you have Nolan Gorman, who's a natural third baseman. So it's like you have so many third basemen. Like, you know, is Jordan Walker going to be great? Yeah, but you know, you got to get pitching, dude. You already have 2 third basemen.
Yeah, that's true.
And like, who knows? Like, maybe he does become a great outfielder, but like he looked lost in the outfield when he was up earlier. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
And I think that's something that really gives Jordan Walker a lot of his his ranking is how strong he is at third in the farm systems.
Yep.
If you take that away, he's got a really good bat, but there's a lot of outfielders with really good bats. There aren't a lot of third basemen with really good bats.
Yep.
So I think that takes away and moves Walker down the rankings a lot when you move him to the outfield.
I agree. I was last night when we were talking, I was kind of like going through the Orioles prospect list, and I was like, man, I was just like putting together deals in my head because, like, you know, the Orioles could definitely use a frontline rotation starter, and I was like, man, if Corbin Burns becomes available, like, would the Orioles actually consider moving like 2 of these top 100 prospects and some other ones for Corbin Burns? And I'm like, man, honestly, I don't know if they would.
Yeah.
But like, you have to consider. I mean, you got Jordan Westbrook coming up, shortstop, right? You have Gunnar Henderson, who's a natural shortstop but can also play third. They have him at third up in the big leagues right now. And then you have Jackson Holiday coming, who, if he continues his ascent, he's going to be in the big leagues by next summer probably.
Next year, yep.
So now you have like 3 potential shortstops. Obviously, you're not trading Jackson Holiday. That's not going to happen.
I don't think you trade Gunnar Henderson either.
Yeah, Gunner's not going to get moved. It's Westberg.
Yeah.
But it's like, I keep looking at it and I'm like, man, Jorge Mateo's been dog shit for like 2 weeks, right? He's like a career 220 hitter. He's like not great hitting the ball, but he's ultra fast and he's got a nice glove. But if he continues to not hit, they're already getting ready to call up Jordan Westberg. He's going to take Jorge Mateo's spot. So then it's like, would the Orioles actually consider doing that if Westberg is helping them in a playoff push currently?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and are they going to get good value for Westberg if he goes up and doesn't play well?
Nah, because you can't take like a small sample size.
Yeah.
You know, if he didn't play well for like a year or 2, that's one thing. But I mean, the kid's raking AAA right now, so it's like it's gonna be interesting. Speaking of the AL East, let's look at the AL East because this is a very fascinating division right now, Ben. Every single team is over 500.
Yeah.
The Toronto Blue Jays are out here they are struggling, dude. They're 5-12 against the division. They're 25-22 overall. They're 8.5 back of first. You know, the Tampa Bay Rays have been skating. Baltimore is only 2.5 back of first right now.
Yep.
Currently, to win the AL East, Tampa Bay minus 185, Yankees plus 450, Toronto plus 550, Baltimore plus 1,200.
Take that.
Boston plus 2,100. I don't know if Baltimore, like with their starting rotation, I don't know if they can win the division, honestly. Grayson Rodriguez, he's shown flashes.
Well, but that's my thought is that Baltimore is going to get another pitcher at some point.
Yeah, I agree.
They're going to have to.
And Grayson Rodriguez is only going to get better.
Yeah.
Like we see it basically every start, he gets better and better and better. Kyle Bradish is electric. Tyler Wells is nice. Dean Kramer pitched a hell of a game today against Toronto, but he's kind of and then also they're getting John Means back too, Ben.
Yeah.
He's coming back in June, so you know, maybe who knows if they do go get a starter. What if John Means comes back and looks like the Cy Young candidate John Means? That's like a free trade already, you know? They didn't have to make a trade and they get that guy.
Yeah, but even then, you make a trade for another, 3-4, and
could be nice.
Holy hell, you've got a incredible rotation, incredible defense, and incredible offense there.
Have you heard any updates on Carlos Rodon?
I
know
think
like 2 weeks ago we got an update saying that like he wasn't even close to coming back.
well, no, I think it was that he was throwing and then he started to feel tightness again.
Back discomfort, I thought it was last time.
Or back, okay, yeah.
Because Luis Severino came back today. He looked pretty decent.
Okay, so 2 weeks ago was the chronic back issue.
Oh, it's chronic back issue? That does
yeah.
not sound good, dude.
And then let's see. 2 days ago, still shrouded by mystery. He has a strong desire.
So basically, he's not coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, I think we still got time.
Because I think that is brutal, Ben, for the Yankees. Like, they cannot continue trotting out Clark Schmidt and Jose.
You got to think, too, is Domingo Germán, is he going to continue to use his sticky stuff?
Yeah, that's twice now, right, with him?
Yeah, the first he was told to go wash his hands. He did. Then he came back again and now got a 10-game suspension, which it's kind of stupid because 10-game suspension really just means 2 starts. So, like, it's not, that's nothing crazy. And then didn't we have who else did we have using sticky stuff in New York?
Scherzer.
No, well, yes, but was it Schmidt that had to go wash his hands?
Oh, I don't know.
There was somebody else that had to go wash another Yankee that had to go and who was pitching and had to go and wash up because he had sticky stuff on it.
It wouldn't surprise me though, because if one guy's doing it, usually they all are.
All are, yeah.
So I would not even not consider it. You know what I mean? Like, makes total sense.
Okay, so Rodon received a cortisone shot in his back last week and is in the process of ramping up his throwing program. No specific timetable has been announced. So if he's still getting cortisone shots,
that's not good.
That's not good.
Yeah.
And that's just to build his arm up.
That's not a good look. And at plus 450, there's not enough value there for a team that's they're fucking 5.5 back of first right now.
Yeah.
It's like, and their offense is basically Judge or nothing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Or Judge and Rizzo or nothing, I should say. Although Volpe's been all right, but
Volpe's just been good stealing bases, which is where we thought Bobby Witt was going to be, but Bobby Witt has not panned out.
Well, you got to get on base to steal bases. That's why Bobby Witt hasn't panned
That's
out.
very true. Touche, my friend. Touche.
Can't steal first base. You know what I mean? You gotta get to first to steal bags. Kansas City's they're a funny team to me because I feel like they got talent, dude. I don't know what it is. I mean, they took 2 or 3 from the Padres, and then it's like they get swept the next series.
Yeah,
they're all over the place, man. They are all over the place.
Well, speaking of all over the place, is Toronto.
Oh yeah.
Like that's a team that I don't get. They were playing really well for 2 weeks there, and then his last 2 weeks has just been.
Well, the problem is Manoah's not good.
Yeah,
he hasn't been great this year, and on top of that, Gausman, he's been struggling a little bit. Their best pitcher has been Chris Bassett in the last month. And then their bullpen is, not that good. Swanson's good. And it was funny, man. On Saturday, the Blue Jays were up by 1 run. And Jordan Romano comes into the game with 2 outs in the 8th inning. There's a runner on first and second. And I'm listening to the Blue Jays broadcast, and he says, Jordan Romano has not given up a run all year at home. Very next pitch, Ryan O'Hearn.
Yep.
Crack! 3-run shot, dude, to center field. And that's just kind of how the Blue Jays have been. I mean, like, Jordan Romano, in my opinion, like, he's a nice reliever. I just don't think he's a closer.
Yeah.
And, like, Ben, remember last year, their bullpen was their biggest issue, aside from hitting with runners in position, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, and it's still an issue.
Yep.
Like, here we are a year later. They go and they trade for Swanson. They trade Teoscar Hernandez for Eric Swanson. Eric Swanson was one of the best relievers in baseball last year. He's still very nice this year. But it's like, they still don't have a good bullpen.
Yeah.
And you're getting great starts from UC Kikuchi. Jose Barrios has been nice at home. He just can't pitch on the road. This team is just, and they still can't hit with runners in position.
Yeah. Yep. And you know, it's crazy that you got to think that Toronto 25-22 is the best team in the Central, tied for the best team in the Central with the Twins.
Yeah.
And would be third in a wild card position in the West.
But I mean, but they're in the toughest division, man.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
You know? And
we know Boston is going to drop out.
Well, Boston's offense is really good. Like,
yeah.
They won't tail off. It's just their pitching.
They're going to tail off because their pitching is so bad.
I don't know. I feel like their lineup's so deep, dude. Like,
yeah.
Masataka is so
team,
nice,
though.
bro.
Yeah. In that division, I just think they're a 500 team.
Oh, yeah. Like, they just don't.
Which is crazy that they're going to be in last place at 500.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that division is just, it's incredibly difficult, man. Like, I was watching that Orioles and Blue Jays series this week, and I was like, man, the Orioles really are a better team than the Blue Jays, dude. And that's crazy to say.
Yeah.
Because go ahead.
No.
I was just going to say, like, the Orioles probably have, this is crazy to say in a division with the Rays, but the Orioles have the best bullpen in that division.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, it's not even close.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that makes the Orioles so dangerous, because, like, if they have a lead going into the 7th inning with Yenier Cano and Felix Bautista, it's like scoring off those two dudes is like damn near impossible.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And I think that's the big thing with the Rays right now is that they aren't going into that 7th inning with the lead as much as they were previous because their starters are hurt.
That's that too, but Jason Adam also hasn't been as nailed as he was last year. Jason Adam gave up a fucking walk-off home run to fucking Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
Last year, you get a lead in the 9th inning. You got Jason Adam coming in. It's like, doors shut, dude. You ain't scoring.
So one thing I did want to bring up with the AL East was a comment I saw talking about Tampa Bay and their home record being incredible. 21-4 at home. Do they have something up where they are bending the rules, cheating in their home field?
I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
But you might be onto something.
It could definitely be. And looking at their schedule, I mean, I do think that they've also been very lucky with the teams that they've played at home.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Ben, what winning teams have they played at home? Milwaukee and New York. That's it, right?
So they played Washington, swept at home. They lost to Toronto at home 2-1. They beat Cincinnati 2-1 at home. So they swept 3-1 in Chicago. Swept Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, Pittsburgh. That was the start of Pittsburgh's demise. Yeah,
2-1 against Baltimore. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at my bad. Scratch all of that. So
they lost the series to Baltimore though.
Yeah, no, that was in Baltimore. I was reading the ats.
But they lost to Baltimore, right? They lost that series, right? 2-1.
2-1, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so at home, my bad.
Yeah.
You have Detroit. They swept 3 games. You have Oakland. They swept 3 games.
2 bad teams.
Boston. They swept 4 games. Chicago. They swept 3 games. Houston. 2 losses there. They lost the series 2-1.
Okay.
Pittsburgh.
They won that series.
They swept that series. Yankees, they won 2-1. And then Milwaukee 2-1.
So the only good teams they played at home was Milwaukee, the Yankees, Pittsburgh, but that was kind of like when Pittsburgh started faltering a lot.
Yeah. They lost to Houston.
And they lost to Houston, and then they also played Boston, but that was when Boston was bad.
Yeah. Yep.
That was before they.
So
Kinda
I mean, they
turned.
haven't really played great teams at home.
Yeah.
This next week, next week they have Toronto and LA at home.
I just think without Springs and Rasmussen, dude, I have a hard time believing that the Rays are going to be able to keep this up over the course of a season, dude.
Yep, I totally agree with you that, and I'm gonna kind of go to that in our top 5.
Interesting.
So, yep.
All right, before we get to our top 5 real quick, let's just talk about the Padres. We got to talk about the Padres because they've been so fucking dog shit, dude. This is a team. I mean, Ben, they can't score, and they have a great lineup. I was talking. I forget who I was talking with somebody last night about the Padres, but what is your thoughts on San Diego? Like, is this fixable? And how do you see this kind of playing out?
To be honest, I don't know if this is fixable because you look at what they're supposed to be so incredibly strong at, and that's their offense and their batting, and they're just atrocious. Their batting average is 30th overall in MLB. Their on-base percentage is 21st. Their slugging percentage is 24th. When you put that together with their pitching, which surprisingly has been one of their better sides of their ball game, even though it's mediocre. Like, I mean, I guess you can't put mediocre against the 4th best opponent batting average and 10th best earned run, so it's better than mediocre. But like, this is the batting is their strong point, and it's atrocious.
Yeah.
And then now we have Machado going out for a while because he just got hurt.
But he was bad, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
81 WRC plus. I mean,
but now he's out with a hand fracture. That's gonna keep him out for a while, and I mean, he's gonna lose whatever swing that he had.
Yeah, this team, the lineup is so top heavy, dude. Yeah. And when I say it's top heavy, I mean it's top heavy. I mean, you got Juan Soto 144 WRC plus, for Tatis 126 WRC plus, Xander Bogaerts 119, and then you got Matt Carpenter 106, Jake Cronenworth 101, and then everybody else on the lineup is under 100, including you got guys that are playing almost every day in Nelson Cruz 85 WRC plus, Rougned Odor 45 WRC plus. I mean, dude, that's borderline like out of the league bad.
Yeah.
And Austin Nola. I mean, dude, this team is just like they're so top heavy, bro. It's like once you get to the top of the lineup, pitchers are just like pitching around these guys because it's like, okay, I could walk the bases loaded.
You don't have to worry. Yeah.
And then Hassan Kim's gonna get up and he's gonna pop out, and then fucking Rougned Odor's gonna strike out. I mean, there's just like there's no protection in this lineup, bro. It's
Trent Grisham batting 186, Cronenworth 211, Carpenter 211, Nola 146, Odor 175, I said Grisham already. Like, that's bad.
Yeah, this team is terrible, dude.
That's bad. And even then, like, Bogart 257 is their best player on the team. Nelson Cruz DHing is better than that.
Juan Soto's 248, but he has a 401 on base. So I mean, he's on base a lot, which is why his weighted runs created plus is so high. He also has a 230 ISO, which is like super elite.
Yeah.
Bogarts has really struggled though. He's kind of tailed off. He started the year super hot. He was like 375 for like the first month.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know how the Padres fix this, because this is the problem with trading all your organizational depth, because this is where you call up those prospects to like fill in these other positions, dude.
Yeah.
I watched Rougned Odor play for the Orioles last year, bro. Dude was so bad, dude.
Yeah.
It was like you could literally throw anybody in there and it'll do just as good of a job.
Yeah.
And that's where the Padres are, dude.
Yeah. Well, and their starting rotation has just been horrible. It's the
The bullpen has
relief
been
pitching
good.
that has been keeping them in games.
Yep. But I do expect Michael Walker's actually been really good his last few starts.
Mhm.
Darvish has been good. Seth Lugo's been pretty good. He'll obviously he's not that great of a pitcher, but you know, Nick Martinez has been good. And then I expect Musgrove and Snell to kind of be a little bit better. You know, I do talk a lot of shit about Musgrove, how he can't pitch it through the order 3 times, which is true, but he's not this bad of a pitcher, dude.
Yeah.
So I do expect him to figure it out a little bit. But yeah, you're right, dude.
Talking about bad pitcher, did you see Trevor Bauer sent down to the farm team?
Oh yeah, in Japan.
Yeah.
He should go.
Yikes.
He should go pitch in the KBO, man.
They'd suck there too.
Yeah, but I mean, like they have such bad pitching, dude. Like he'd actually probably be like a Cy Young winner there. That's how bad it is. All right, what's your top 5 look like this week, Ben?
All right, so we have a couple honorable mentions here. This is crazy that this team is on honorable mention. So Yankees 8-2 this week, D-Bags 7-3 this week. Texas Rangers 7-3 in their last 10. Lost that series against Atlanta, which put them in the honorable mention there. But I'm surprised that I think they're number 3 overall in the league right now. But they're in my honorable mention. I have a tie for number 4 and 5. That's going to go to the Dodgers and Atlanta. Both teams are struggling. LA with their rotation, Atlanta with their rotation. They do have a series this week, which is going to differentiate the two for me to put them in 4th and 5th. Dodgers 29-19 with the Braves 29-17. So technically the Braves have better record, but haven't been as hot as the Dodgers. So that's why they are.
I'm surprised you have the Braves that low.
Yeah. Again, pitching issues. Number 3, I'm going to go Houston Astros. 7-game winning streak, 9-1 their last 10. So I got to put them up on the list there. They have had the easy schedule, but their run differential is what got me this last week is a +14 in their last 7 games.
It's always nice when you get to see the A's on your schedule, dude.
Exactly. And guess who's coming up after the Brewers? The A's, the Twins, and the Angels. So they do have, other than the Brewers, which are in a absolute downfall right now, they've got a pretty easy schedule coming in. So I do see themselves moving up. Number 2, I do have the Baltimore Orioles at 31-16, 7-3 in their last 10. Huge sweep against the Blue Jays, and I think that's that's pushing them to moving up. And number 1, and this could be the last week at number 1 for me, the Tampa Bay Rays. 34-14, 3-3 this week, 21-4 at home. So incredible home schedule, but we talked about how shit teams they were playing. So I mean, they're still 2nd in ERA, 1st in opponent batting average, 1st in WHIP. Batting average offensively is still top notch. 1st in runs, 1st in slugging percentage, 1st in batting average, 1st in on base percentage. This team is still really good, but their pitching injuries are bringing them down. So it's tough to see, but they're still a hell of a team.
I agree. So I have the Astros on the outside looking in.
Interesting.
I have Dodgers number 5, Rangers number 4, Braves number 3. Because I still think the Braves, like, they're the best team in the NL in my opinion.
Pitching is.
Yeah, they have a lot of injuries, but they're getting it done. You know what I mean? True. They're still making it happen. And then I got the Orioles number 2, obviously, and then the Rays number 1.
Yep. And also, are the Braves doing it right now? 4-6 in their last 10.
But I mean, they've been playing good teams.
Yeah, but still, you're a good team. You have to beat those other good teams.
Braves are the best team in the National League, in my opinion. But as far as my Marlins to win the NL East goes, I like to see the Braves falter. And Ben, the Marlins are over 500, only 5.5 back, dude.
Yep.
We're live.
Ian Anderson out with Tommy John.
Ian Anderson's trash, though.
Kyle Wright. Oh, I know, but just they all add up. Kyle Wright, he said he expects to be sidelined for 2 months.
That's a blow.
Yeah, Dylan Lee. Is on now the 15-day IL.
As long as Max Fried, Spencer Strider, as long as they're good.
Well, Max Fried is on the 15-day DL as of today.
Oh,
he has been able to lift weights, but there's no sign he's close to resuming throwing.
Oh, that's not good. And Bryce Elder's been good too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not looking good for the Braves. But that lineup is nasty.
Oh, absolutely. But they're another team that needs starting pitching, and there's just isn't much starting pitching left.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for them, man.
Yeah.
Let's go, y'all.
All right, what best bets we got for tomorrow, Ben?
So tomorrow, my bet is going to be the under 5.5 in the Dallas and in the Florida and Carolina
Canes game. All right. As much shit as I talked about the Brewers this show, I'm going Brewers money line minus 105 against the Astros. Corbin Burns on the hill against Christian Javier. It's gonna be a great pitching matchup. The Astros have a very high K percentage, over 24% against the Brewers, and obviously Corbin Burns is a high strikeout guy. Brewers at home. I think this line is a little. I think it's a little off, so I like the Brewers minus 105, and I'm going Hurricanes minus 104. Like I said before, must-win game. I like backing teams in a situation. If they lose, I'll ride with it. But it's a good spot. It's a good spot to back them. So I'm gonna ride with the Canes, man. Minus 104, must-win game.
All right, and I'm also gonna go fuck it, and we're gonna go Nuggies plus 140
with the sweep. Yeah, I mean,
Brooms are coming out.
I definitely lean the Nuggets there, Ben. I on my best bets though, but I do like the Giants there. Alex Cobb's listed as a starter, but I'm also seeing Brebbia in some spots listed as a starter.
Interesting. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. So,
but Bailey Ober's pitching for the Twins. He has like a 1.96 ERA, but he has like a 5 xFIP. So definitely some regression coming. And the Giants rake righties.
Yeah.
So that's something to look out for.
There we go.
Thank you everybody for joining us tonight. We appreciate y'all. Make sure to tap in on Tuesday. We'll be going through Major League Baseball. We'll be breaking down a handful of games for the Wednesday slate, getting some best bets. We've been really good on those shows, so definitely want to tap into that. Make sure to go to Tavour.com or download the Tavour app straight to your mobile device and use promo code TAPROOM for $10 off your first purchase of $25 or more. As craft beer delivered straight to your front door, you don't even have to leave your seat. We'll see y'all later. Love y'all. Peace.
Later.